Have you noticed your partner pulling away, but you're unsure why? The connection that once felt unbreakable now seems distant, and the signs are hard to ignore. What if I told you that this subtle shift isn't just random, it's a red flag? In today's video, we're diving deep into the hidden signs that your partner may be losing interest, and more importantly, what you can do to turn the tide before it's too late. Stay tuned, because understanding these signs could change everything. Point 1. Psychological behavioral changes. The most dangerous illusion in love is believing that interest once won is permanent. It is not. The moment you stop capturing attention, the moment familiarity replaces fascination, the human mind wired for novelty begins to drift. When communication dwindles, when responses become mechanical, when the words that once flowed like a river turn into mere drops of obligation, know this: it is not by accident. Your partner is retreating into silence because the emotions that once drove their words have withered. Love, like power, is about engagement. The absence of it is the first whisper of a greater storm. Inattention is the greatest insult, for what is love if not the devotion of energy? If they once found joy in your presence but now seek distractions elsewhere, know that attraction has been replaced by obligation. What was once effortless has now become a duty. This shift is never spoken aloud, but it is deeply felt. The error of the weak is to react with desperation, to demand attention rather than inspire it. The strong understand that mystery is power, that what is easily possessed is easily discarded. Reignite what was lost not by pleading, but by making yourself once again someone they must win over. When irritation replaces affection, when your presence becomes a source of impatience rather than desire, recognize it for what it is: a warning. People do not become short-tempered with those they cherish. They do so when the heart has already begun to wander. This is where most crumble, becoming either too aggressive or too submissive. Neither will restore balance. The answer is not in seeking validation, but in reclaiming your essence. Do not chase. Do not explain. Become again the source of intrigue, the one whose presence is a privilege, not a given. Those who master attraction understand this truth: what is scarce is valued, what is abundant is ignored. Point 2. Red flag solutions. There comes a time in every relationship when silence becomes louder than words. The messages that once arrived with urgency now appear as afterthoughts, delayed and indifferent. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly now feel like obligations, met with short responses or worse, complete disregard. This is not an accident. It is not forgetfulness. It is a shift in priority, a reflection of fading interest. People invest their time where they feel most alive, and if your presence no longer sparks engagement, the truth is clear: their attention has wandered. But this is not the moment to panic or chase. Desperation repels, strength attracts. Withdraw gracefully, match their energy, and in your absence, let them feel the weight of the silence they created. A partner losing interest rarely announces their departure with words. They do so with actions, by no longer envisioning a future with you. The plans that once excited them now seem distant, vague, or forgotten altogether. The weekends that were once sacred are now filled with other obligations, unexplained busyness, and the ever-repeating phrase, "maybe later." This is a warning. It is in human nature to prioritize what excites the soul, and if they no longer plan with you, they are planning without you. The answer is not to beg for space in their future, but to reclaim control of your own. Pull back, redefine your value, become the one who decides where your time and energy go, and suddenly they will realize what they took for granted. In a world where distractions are limitless, attention is currency. If your partner begins spending more time lost in a digital world, scrolling endlessly, engaging in meaningless interactions while you sit unnoticed, understand the message. People do not ignore what they cherish. They do not replace deep conversation with superficial entertainment unless they seek escape. The mistake is to fight for their focus, to demand what should be freely given. Instead, become scarce. Do not beg for attention, command it by shifting yours elsewhere. When someone who once overlooked you realizes your energy is no longer freely available, they will either return with urgency or reveal their true intentions. Both are answers. Affection is the unspoken language of love, and when it fades, so does the foundation of intimacy. The touches that once lingered now feel obligatory. The warmth in their eyes is replaced with indifference. This is not the natural course of love, it is its slow erosion. Passion does not simply disappear, it is redirected. If your partner no longer reaches for you, no longer makes you feel chosen, do not tolerate the void. Distance yourself, not in anger but in wisdom. Absence has a way of awakening appreciation, of forcing the mind to remember what the heart once cherished. But if, in your distance, they feel no loss, then the truth is undeniable. And the greatest power you can ever hold is the strength to walk away from what no longer values you. Point 3. Common relationship paces. There comes a time in every relationship when the fire that once burned bright begins to flicker. In the beginning, passion is effortless. Every glance, every touch, every word exchange feels electric. But time, that great equalizer, does not care for fleeting emotions. It forces all things into routine, stripping away the mystery, the chase, the anticipation. And this is where many falter, mistaking comfort for indifference, mistaking familiarity for a lack of love. Yet, what they fail to see is that relationships like power require constant reinvention. The one who understands this, who knows how to weave novelty into the fabric of daily life, will keep desire alive, while the one who ignores it will watch their connection wither into silence. But know this interest is not lost in a moment. It fades through a series of small disappointments, of unnoticed changes, of words left unsaid. It is easy to blame them, to see their distance as their failure, their disinterest as a personal betrayal. But the wise do not waste time in self-pity. They look within and ask, have I become predictable? Have I lost the mystery, the charm, the force that once captivated them? Desire thrives in the unknown, in the sense that there is still more to discover. The moment you become entirely accessible, entirely known, entirely safe is the moment their mind begins to wander. Keep them guessing, keep them yearning, and they will return to you like a moth to the flame. And yet sometimes no amount of strategy, no amount of reinvention can hold on to what has already slipped away. There is a great strength in knowing when to fight and when to walk away. The one who clings too tightly, who refuses to let go, only accelerates their own downfall. If their heart has left, if their mind has already written the ending, then it is not your duty to chase, it is your duty to rise, to step away not in defeat, but in power, knowing that their loss is not your failure, but their blindness. For the one who masters the art of attraction, who knows the delicate balance of closeness and distance, of mystery and familiarity, will never be without love, because they have become the source of it. Point 4. Psychological reasons behind losing interest. There is a silent war waged in every relationship, a battle not fought with words, but with dwindling attention, with the slow erosion of presence. It begins subtly. Conversations that once flowed like a river now dry up into mere transactional exchanges. The enthusiasm that once burned brightly in their eyes when they saw you now flickers like a candle fighting against an unseen wind. This is not mere coincidence. It is a sign, a shift in energy, a withdrawal of the mind before the body follows. And yet, most people ignore these warnings, hoping that time alone will fix what is slipping away. But time does not heal indifference, it only deepens the void. Understand this, interest is not lost overnight. It decays in stages, each one marked by a growing sense of detachment. The heart craves excitement, the mind seeks newness, and when the familiar becomes mundane, it rebels. Your partner, once drawn to the unpredictable rhythm of your presence, now sees only patterns they have memorized too well. What was once mystery has become routine. What once demanded their focus now blends into the background of their life. And so they begin to pull away, not always out of malice, but out of an unspoken need for something they no longer feel. Recognizing this shift is not weakness, it is power, the power to intervene before the final thread unravels. If you sense this distance growing, do not react with desperation. Desperation stinks of fear, and fear only repels further. Instead, reclaim your essence. The version of you that captivated them was never desperate for validation. It was full of life, ambition, and self-possession. You must make them see you anew, not through pleading or confrontation, but by becoming unpredictable once more. Withdraw slightly, not as punishment, but as a reminder that your presence is not a given, it is a privilege. Reinvent yourself in ways that reignite curiosity. The mind cannot ignore what it finds intriguing, and attraction feeds on curiosity like fire feeds on air. But if, even after your evolution, their interest continues to wane, then understand that true power lies in knowing when to walk away. Clinging to a fading connection will only drain you, leaving you a mere shadow of the person you once were. Never become so attached to someone that you forget your own worth. If they no longer see your value, then let them experience life without it. Only in absence do people truly recognize what they had, and if they do not, then you have freed yourself from a bond that was never meant to last. Point 5. Male V's, female perspectives. In the grand theater of human relationships, power is not just in love, but in perception. To navigate the shifting tides of desire, one must learn to see beyond words, into the hidden currents of action. When a man begins to withdraw, it is rarely with a dramatic exit, it is a slow erosion of presence. The calls become shorter, the texts less frequent, the deep conversations replaced by silence or indifference. He does not argue, for arguments require passion. Instead, he disengages, creating an emotional void that is more painful than confrontation. This is the moment where many fail, chasing after the fading light rather than commanding their own. The one who controls the distance controls the power. Do not beg for attention. Instead, create space, let him feel your absence, not your desperation. A woman's withdrawal is a different art, crafted with subtlety and precision. It is not in her words, but in the coldness of her embrace, the absence of laughter in moments that once held joy. She does not leave all at once. She tests your blindness, seeing if you will notice her fading warmth. If she was once expressive, now she is restrained. If she once sought closeness, now she seeks solitude. It is here that many fail, mistaking her silence for peace when it is a storm brewing in secret. A woman does not lose interest in a single moment. It is a slow burn, a response to neglect, to a loss of admiration. The greatest mistake a man can make is assuming her love is permanent. Instead, he must become unpredictable, reigniting the curiosity that first drew her in. At the heart of every waning relationship is a truth too many refuse to face. Love does not die naturally. It is killed by neglect, by routine, by the absence of challenge. The mind desires what it cannot fully possess. The greatest error in love is becoming ordinary, predictable, and available at all times. When your partner loses interest, they are telling you without words that the dance has become dull, the pursuit too easy. The answer is not in pleading or demanding, but in becoming scarce and mastering the art of presence and absence. By creating an air of mystery, by rediscovering your own path, you force their mind to wander back to you. Power in relationships is held by those who understand the law of emotional gravity. People are drawn to what feels just out of reach. When they pull away, you must resist the instinct to chase. Instead, step back and become the force they once pursued. Reinvent yourself, reclaim your individuality, and remind them that what is easily taken for granted can just as easily be lost. Love, like power, belongs to those who refuse to beg for it. In the grand chessboard of relationships, losing interest is not an accident. It is a slow erosion, a shift in power, a change in the delicate balance of attraction and emotional investment. Those who fail to recognize the signs become blind participants in their own downfall, clinging to the remnants of a connection that no longer exists. True mastery lies not in desperate attempts to rekindle dying flames, but in understanding the deeper currents of human nature, why people withdraw, what drives their desires, and how to maintain an air of mystery and intrigue. If your partner is losing interest, resist the urge to chase. Instead, recalibrate your value, reignite your own purpose, and let distance work in your favor. In relationships, as in war, the one who appears less needy holds the advantage.